Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Amna Sajid and today we are going to discuss vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is also known as pyridoxine and it is a water soluble vitamin. Different forms or vitamins of vitamin B6 include pyridoxine, pyridoxal, and pyridoxamine. And the active coenzyme form of this vitamin is known as pyridoxal phosphate. So all these different forms, pyridoxine, pyridoxal, and pyridoxamine, they are able to convert into pyridoxal phosphate, which is the active form of the enzyme. Active form of the vitamin. So pyridoxal phosphate acts as a coenzyme for different biochemical reactions. The dietary sources of vitamin B6 include fish, beef, organ meat such as liver, potatoes, beans, nuts, grains, and non-citrus fruits. So as we discussed earlier, pyridoxal phosphate, which is the biologically active form of vitamin B6, it acts as a coenzyme for various reactions in the body, especially those reactions which are involved in amino acid metabolism. So examples of pyridoxal phosphate requiring reactions are transamination reactions, and transamination reactions are those reactions in which an amino group is being transferred from one molecule to another molecule. Deamination reactions in which amino group is being removed from a molecule. Decarboxylation reactions in which carbon dioxide is being removed from a molecule. And condensation reactions in which two molecules are being condensed together to form a single molecule. Further examples of PLP or pyridoxal phosphate requiring reactions are synthesis of cysteine from homocysteine, and this is an example of transsulfuration process. Now glycogen breakdown catalyzed by enzyme glycogen phosphorylase, it also requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. So now we are going to see the different reactions which involve pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. The first one is transamination reactions. Transamination reactions are those reactions which involve transfer of amino group from one compound to another compound. So as you can see in this figure, this is the first example of a transamination reaction and this is the second example of a transamination reaction. The first one is being catalyzed by an enzyme known as alanine aminotransferase, abbreviated as ALT. So ALT requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. And what is ALT doing? It is basically transferring an amino group from alanine to alpha ketoglutarate, as a result of which alpha ketoglutarate is being converted to an amino acid glutamate, whereas alanine, which is an amino acid, after losing its amino group, it is being converted to a carbon skeleton form known as pyruvate. So alanine loses its amino group and is converted to pyruvate, and that amino group is accepted by alpha ketoglutarate and it is converted to an amino acid known as glutamate, and this reaction requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. So the second transamination reaction, which also requires pyridoxal phosphate, is being catalyzed by aspartate aminotransferase, which is abbreviated as AST. So what is AST doing? AST is transferring an amino group from aspartate, which is an amino acid, and that amino group is being accepted by alpha ketoglutarate, as a result of which alpha ketoglutarate will be converted to glutamate, and aspartate, after losing its amino group, will be converted to oxaloacetate, which is the carbon skeleton form of the amino acid, which means that it does not contain amino group. So these two are examples of transamination reactions which require pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. Now this is another type of reaction known as deamination reaction, which requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. And deamination means loss of an amino group. So as you can see, this is serine, which is an amino acid. It loses its amino group in a deamination reaction and is converted into pyruvate or pyruvic acid. Now this is a two-step reaction which is being catalyzed by serine dehydratase enzyme, and it requires pyridoxal phosphate or PLP as a coenzyme. So different deamination reactions, an example is given here. They also require pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. Now, this is an example of decarboxylation reaction, and decarboxylation reactions are those reactions which involve removal of carbon dioxide from a molecule. As you can see, this is an amino acid histidine, and it loses carbon dioxide in the presence of histidine decarboxylase enzyme to form histamine, which, as you might be knowing, is a mediator of type 1 hypersensitivity reactions. So histidine, after losing carbon dioxide or after undergoing decarboxylation, is converted to histamine, and this reaction also requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. So this is another example of decarboxylation reactions requiring pyridoxal phosphate or vitamin B6 as a coenzyme. And in this reaction, glutamate, which is an amino acid, a standard amino acid, it is being converted into a non-standard amino acid called GABA after undergoing decarboxylation in the presence of glutamate decarboxylase enzyme and vitamin B6, which is acting as a coenzyme here. Okay, now these are two additional examples of decarboxylation reaction. This is the first series of reactions and this is the second series of reactions. Now, in the first series of reactions, tryptophan is being converted to 5-hydroxytryptophan, and 5-hydroxytryptophan is being converted to serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter. So what happens, tryptophan, which is an amino acid, is hydroxylated to form 5-hydroxytryptophan. Now this reaction does not require pyridoxal phosphate, but when 5-hydroxytryptophan undergoes decarboxylation to form serotonin, now this reaction here, it requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. Similarly, tyrosine, which is another amino acid, it is being hydroxylated to form L-DOPA, and when L-DOPA undergoes decarboxylation in the presence of this enzyme to form dopamine, then this reaction requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. And these two are very important reactions because they are resulting in the formation of serotonin and dopamine, which are important neurotransmitters in our body. So now another type of reaction which requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme is condensation reactions, and this reaction you have studied earlier as well in heme synthesis, in which glycine is being condensed with succinyl CoA to form amino levulinic acid or ALA, and this condensation requires vitamin B6 in the form of pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. So this is another example of a reaction involved in amino acid metabolism that requires pyridoxal phosphate as a coenzyme. And what is happening in this reaction? Homocysteine is being converted to cystathionine, and cystathionine is being converted to cysteine, which is a standard amino acid, sulfur containing standard amino acid. So homocysteine, a non-standard amino acid, is being converted to cystathionine, and cystathionine is being converted to cysteine, and both these reactions, conversion of homocysteine to cystathionine and conversion of cystathionine to cysteine, they require vitamin B6 as a coenzyme. So this reaction is known as trans-sulfuration reaction. You just need to at this stage memorize that this is an example of trans-sulfuration reaction. And why it is a trans-sulfuration process, you might not be able to understand at this stage, but when you will study amino acid metabolism in detail, you will be able to grasp the concept. But right now you just need to remember that this is a trans-sulfuration process because the sulfur of methionine is being converted to the sulfur of cysteine. So the or in other words, sulfur from methionine is being transferred to cysteine. And why a sulfur of methionine is being transferred to cysteine? Because this homocysteine can be synthesized from methionine. So methionine, after undergoing a few biochemical reactions, is converted to homocysteine, and this homocysteine is then converted to cysteine. So the sulfur from methionine is being transferred to this molecule cysteine, therefore it is known as trans-sulfuration process. But please don't worry if you don't grasp this concept. You will be able to inshallah understand better when you study amino acid metabolism. The thing to remember for you is that conversion of homocysteine to cystathionine requires B6 as a coenzyme, and conversion of cystathionine to cysteine also requires vitamin B6 as a coenzyme. So we have discussed the different chemical reactions in which pyridoxine is involved. Now we are going to discuss the deficiency of pyridoxine. So pyridoxine deficiency is very rarely seen, but it can develop in infants who are fed with low pyridoxine formula milk, women who are taking oral contraceptive drugs, because oral contraceptive drugs, they interact with pyridoxine in such a way that pyridoxine deficiency can occur. And pyridoxine deficiency can also occur in alcoholics, and we have discussed earlier in chronic alcoholics, usually malnutrition and undernourishment is seen, and one of the malnutrition occurring in alcoholics is deficiency of pyridoxine as well. And patients who are taking isoniazid also develop vitamin B6 deficiency. We are going to discuss this point in detail later as well, but right now you need to remember that isoniazid is an anti-tuberculous drug, and its ingestion is, or its administration is, associated with vitamin B6 deficiency. So patients who are being treated for tuberculosis with isoniazid, they need to be supplemented with pyridoxine as well to prevent a deficiency of pyridoxine in such patients. So what clinical features are associated with pyridoxine deficiency? Glossitis, which is an inflammation of the tongue resulting in swollen tongue. Chelosis, which is cracks at the angle of the mouth. Dermatitis, anemia, and neurological signs and symptoms. And why anemia occurs in case of pyridoxine deficiency? Because pyridoxine is involved in the first step of heme synthesis, which is the condensation of glycine with succinyl CoA to form ALA. And the clinical features observed in infants who are deficient in pyridoxine include irritability and even convulsive seizures. Okay, so why is pyridoxine given to patients who are taking isoniazid as a treatment for tuberculosis? So isoniazid is an anti-tuberculous drug, and it causes a deficiency of pyridoxine by combining with pyridoxal phosphate, and after combining with pyridoxal phosphate, it causes loss of biological activity of pyridoxal phosphate. So when pyridoxal phosphate combines with isoniazid, it loses its biological activity, which means that it can no longer perform its biological functions, and this results in different clinical features associated with pyridoxine deficiency in patients who are taking isoniazid. So in such patients, we need to give pyridoxine supplements as well to prevent a deficiency of pyridoxine. Now, pyridoxine toxicity can also occur when pyridoxine is being ingested at doses above 500 mg per day. And toxicity of pyridoxine is characterized by neurological symptoms, different very troubling neurological symptoms, and it is the only water soluble vitamin with significant toxicity syndrome. With other water soluble vitamins, usually toxicity is not seen because of the fact that water soluble vitamins are continuously being excreted in urine. But when pyridoxine is ingested at very high doses, such as doses above 500 mg per day, then a toxicity of pyridoxine can be seen. So, this was all about vitamin B6 or pyridoxine. If you have any queries, kindly mail me. Thank you and best of luck.